Ly Tu Diem. Hello everyone. Success can build empires, but can it mend a heart longing for love? CEO Toan, admired in the business world, finds himself on a long business trip, his days filled with meetings, his nights haunted by the thought of Tu Diem. He has everything a man could desire: wealth, power, respect. Yet without her by his side, every triumph feels empty, every smile incomplete. Will Toan's longing for Tu Diem drive him to give up everything he has worked for? Or will fate turn its back, leaving him a man who succeeded in business, but failed in love? The question lingers in the silence of his lonely heart. Can he hold on to both his empire and the woman he loves? Or must one be sacrificed for the other? The city lights glittered outside the tall glass windows of the hotel, but inside his room, CEO Toan felt only emptiness. Success had always been his closest companion: meetings, contracts, deals sealed with firm handshakes. Yet tonight, while the world praised his brilliance, his heart ached for one person far away: Tu Diem. Every night, after endless hours of negotiations, Toan would sit alone and dial her number. The moment her gentle voice answered, exhaustion melted away. What are you doing now?" he would ask, longing to imagine her in the quiet Nang Tri, surrounded by the simple life he could not give up thinking about. She would smile through the phone, hiding her own pain, telling him about harvesting, cooking, and the two pets, Su and Mu, who kept her company. But Tu Diem's silence carried secrets. She had not told Toan that his mother had come to the farm, her harsh words cutting deep into her fragile heart. She feared that if Toan knew, the burden of work and family conflict would crush him. So she swallowed her tears, whispered only words of encouragement, and prayed for his quick return. Toan, however, was not blind to the distance between them. The more successful he became in the corporate world, the more he felt failure closing in on his love. He longed not for boardrooms but for a wooden table where Tu Diem sat waiting with a bowl of simple home-cooked food. He wondered, what use is success if it costs me the woman I love? Days turned into weeks, and the business trip stretched longer than expected. Each contract he signed felt heavy, because it was paid for with time stolen from Tu Diem. Her voice lingered in his mind like a haunting melody, soft, loyal, but slowly fading if he did not fight to keep it alive. Would Toan give up everything, the empire he had built, for a love the world doubted? Would he dare return to her, not as a CEO, but as a man who simply could not live without Tu Diem? The question burned in his heart with every passing night. Because in the end, even the most successful man can fail if he loses the woman who gave meaning to all his victories. While Toan wrestled with the weight of contracts and deadlines, far away in the quiet countryside, Tu Diem was living a very different battle. The Nang Tri was peaceful on the surface, birds sang. The wind carried the scent of fresh earth, but inside her heart, storms never ceased. She woke early each morning, feeding Su and Mu before walking to the garden. Her hands, once delicate, now bore calluses from harvesting vegetables and carrying heavy baskets. Yet she did not complain. Instead, she found strength in imagining Toan's face, his gentle eyes, and the way he always said her name as if it was a treasure he refused to lose. But loneliness was cruel. The nights were the hardest, when the moonlight cast long shadows across the empty yard. She would sit with a lamp, reading through cookbooks, teaching herself to prepare new dishes. "If only I could make something delicious for him when he returns," she whispered, as if the walls could carry her words to Toan. Still, her heart trembled with fear. His mother's disapproval echoed like a curse, sharp, cold, unforgiving. "You will never be enough for my son." Those words returned again and again, no matter how hard she tried to forget them. Sometimes, When the pain grew unbearable, she would bury her face in Miumu's fur, letting her tears fall silently. Yet Tu Diem refused to surrender. She remembered the way Toan held her hand during her weakest moments, the way he said, "Don't cry, I will protect you." That promise was a flame she carried through the darkest nights. One afternoon, after gathering a basket of ripe fruit, she paused under the shade of a tree. Her thoughts drifted far beyond the horizon. "He is working so hard," she murmured. "I must be strong for him. Even if the world denies me, I will not deny our love." But love, she knew, was not just longing, it was sacrifice. She had already begun to wonder, when Toan returned, would she still be by his side? Or would she have to make the most painful choice of all to leave him, so that his world would remain untouched by her suffering? The business trip dragged on longer than Toan had promised. Nights in the hotel became colder, even when wrapped in silk sheets. Finally, after weeks of exhausting negotiations, he signed the final contract. Yet the triumph felt hollow. The only victory he craved was holding Tu Diem again. Without hesitation, he booked the earliest flight back. His assistants congratulated him on his success, but he barely heard them. His heart was already racing homeward, to the small farm where his world truly lived. When the car pulled up at the Nang Trai, Toan stepped out, the scent of soil and wildflowers rushing into his chest. The sight of the wooden gate, worn but familiar, made his throat tighten. He pushed it open gently, afraid that even the creak of the hinges might shatter the fragile dream he carried. Tu Diem was outside, bent over a basket of freshly harvested vegetables. Her hair was tied loosely, strands falling against her cheeks. She didn't notice him at first. Toan stood frozen, drinking in the image he had replayed countless times during sleepless nights. "Diem," his voice cracked, softer than the wind. She turned, startled, and for a heartbeat the world stood still. Her eyes widened, shimmering with disbelief. "Toan." He crossed the yard in a few hurried steps, pulling her into his arms before doubt could steal the moment away. The basket fell to the ground, vegetables scattering, but neither cared. He buried his face in her hair, inhaling the scent of home. "I thought I would lose myself without you," Toan whispered. "Every contract, every meeting, I could only think of you. I don't want success if it means being away from you." Tu Diem trembled, torn between joy and fear. "But your mother, she doesn't want me near you. I didn't tell you before, because I didn't want to make you suffer more." Toan tightened his embrace, his voice fierce with conviction. "Diem, let me suffer if I must, but never alone. I would rather fight the world with you by my side than win it all without you." Her tears spilled at last, not from despair but from the overwhelming relief of being seen, cherished, defended. She leaned into him, her voice breaking like fragile glass. "I only prayed for this moment, that you would come back before my heart lost its strength." The days that followed felt like stolen pieces of paradise. Toan stayed at the farm with Tu Diem, helping her harvest vegetables, cooking simple meals together, and laughing with Sue, and Miu. For the first time in months, he felt alive, not as a CEO, but as a man who belonged. But peace never lasts long. One evening, as the sun dipped low, a black car pulled up outside the wooden gate. Toan's heart clenched. He recognized it immediately, his mother's. Madame Land stepped out, elegant as ever, her eyes sharp as a blade. She scanned the yard, her gaze freezing when it landed on Tu Diem. "So," she said coldly, "I was right. Even after my warnings, you're still here." Tu Diem lowered her head, her hands tightening around the apron she wore. "Madam, I never wanted to cause trouble. I only—" Silence. Land cut her off, her voice trembling with restrained fury. "You think you can trap my son with your tears and your poor life. You'll never be part of this family." Toan stepped forward, placing himself between his mother and the woman he loved. His voice was calm but carried an unshakable strength. "Mother, enough. I won't allow you to speak to her this way." Lan's eyes widened in disbelief. "Toan, are you truly choosing her over everything we built? The company, our name, your future?" "Yes," he said firmly, his hand reaching back to hold Tu Diem's trembling fingers. "Because none of it matters if I lose her. You may see her as weakness, but to me, she is the only strength that keeps me standing." For the first time, Madame Lan faltered. The determination in her son's eyes was unmovable, something even her years of control could not bend. Tu Diem's heart raced, caught between gratitude and fear. This love was real, but it came at a cost, too heavy to ignore. The silence between them stretched, thick as a storm. Finally, Lan turned away, her voice icy. "You will regret this, Toan, both of you." She stepped back into the car, leaving dust rising in her wake, but also leaving a question that hung in the air like a curse. Could their love truly withstand the wrath of a mother's disapproval? Toan pulled Tu Diem close, whispering against her hair. "No matter what comes, I will not let go. Even if I must give up everything, my empire, my future, I will never give up you." And though fear still lingered, Tu Diem believed him. For the first time, she dared to hope that love, when fought for, might be stronger than blood, stronger than power, stronger than destiny itself. Love and success often walk on separate roads, and the path we choose reveals who we truly are. CEO Toan had everything a man could dream of: power, wealth, respect, yet none of it could quiet the longing in his heart for Tu Diem. His story reminds us that achievements mean little if they are built on loneliness. Tu Diem's strength was not found in riches or recognition, but in her quiet resilience. She worked hard, cared for her small world, and endured pain in silence so the man she loved would not be burdened. From her, we learn that love is not only about receiving comfort, but also about giving courage, even when it hurts. The opposition from Toan's mother reflects a truth many face. Sometimes, the ones closest to us cannot see the value of the person we love. It is in those moments that we must decide whether to obey fear or to stand firm for our own hearts. Toan chose courage, he chose love. The lesson is clear: wealth fades, power shifts, and success can vanish overnight. But the bond of two souls who choose each other is unbreakable. To protect love is to protect the very essence of life's meaning. In the end, the greatest failure is not losing business, is losing the person who makes life worth living.